As the digital clock on her computer flickered to 5 p.m., Marissa exhaled a sigh of relief. Finally, the weekend was upon her, a much-needed break from the monotonous drudgery of office life. The office was eerie in its twilight silence as Marissa made her way to the elevators. She stepped inside. The elevator began its descent from the 34th floor. She watched the numbers on the panel decrement, her thoughts drifting. Suddenly the elevator shuddered to a stop. The lights flickered, then stabilized, and the doors opened with a reluctant groan. But instead of revealing the building's lobby, Marissa stepped into an expanse that defied any logic. It was an endless corridor painted in yellow. The carpet underfoot was damp. The elevator panel showed no indication of this floor's existence. There was no button to press, no number to call. The back room, a whisper seemed to say, though whether it was her thoughts or an external voice, she couldn't discern. She took a step into the corridor, and the elevator disappeared as if it had never been there. In the great expanse of the back room, she had a feeling that she was not entirely alone. She tried to find some logic in the labyrinthine layout, but the passages twisted, creating a disorienting maze. She realized there was no signal, just the empty battery icon blinking back at her. That's when she heard it for the first time. A dragging sound, like something wet being pulled across the carpet. She turned to run, but the direction from which she'd come was no longer there. The corridor in front of her stretched, longer and more daunting than before. The lights flickered rapidly, and in the stuttering darkness, she saw it, a fleeting glimpse of something inhuman. Its skin was pallid, a sickly yellow that camouflaged against the walls. She ran, trying to escape the creature. In desperation, she decided to try a vent cover, screwed tightly to the wall. Without a second thought, she pulled at it, causing her fingers to bleed, but she managed to open the vent. The creature's moan was muffled by the walls of the vent as Marissa crawled forward. The air within the vent was musty, thick with the stench of decay and the iron tang of blood. Each vent offered a view into a different level of this impossible place. Marissa peered through the ragged opening, finding herself at the edge of an atrium that spanned multiple floors. Her eyes, wide with the raw edge of survival, scanned the monotonous expanse for the next move. For hours, or was it days? Marissa wandered through the corridors, each one a replica of the last. In one room, she found walls lined with clocks, their hands spinning wildly. In another, hundreds of flickering monitors displayed her own face. When hope seemed all lost, Marissa stumbled upon a staircase that spiraled upward. She reached the top of the stairs and found a door that she opened with shaking hands. The door led her to a perfect recreation of her workplace. Her computer powered on, the screen displaying the time, 5 p.m. On her desk lay a yellow dress and a single piece of paper with the words, "Welcome to your new reality." She attempted to break the windows, to force the doors, but all efforts were futile. The office was her cage, and the back room was its keyholder. Marissa found herself lost in the back room on that day, and no one knew of the yellow corridors that had claimed her.